50 seconds. So that wow, that has decreased cooldowns by 50%. Hello, I'm Kami-G, and welcome back to our Fortnite Save the World guides. So we are on the Blasted Badlands zone. I know this doesn't look like it. You can actually get other zones in this one, which is nice, unlike the Scurvy Shoals, where it's always the pirate zone, which kind of limits you for certain things. But yeah, we're here, and we're going to explain everything about the mode that I understand anyway, and how it works. So, starting off super simple, as you can see at the bottom left, we have loaded in here with 0 energy, and it doesn't come up naturally. It does not come up naturally. So how do you get energy? Well, you can use builds, which we'll show in a second. So certain heroes can give it. I'm just going to grab some meat just because why not? But the main way that you're going to get it back is by damaging enemies. So as you can see, if I do this, every time I poke one of these enemies, I get 5 energy. So a misconception in many people, even veteran players of this venture game mode, have said that they think it's from eliminations, but no, it's just damaging. You get 5. Now, if I were to spray this, let's just do this real quick to get rid of our energy, and then if I could throw it away straight away. So I have 50 energy right now. If I spray into the crowd, you'll see it's not going to go up as fast as the ammo I use. So let's just spray in. So I used 14 bullets there, so if every one of those hit and got 5 energy, I would have gained 70 energy, but I only gained 15. It does have a cooldown on the energy you can gain. So let's just kill this nurse just to help us with this situation. And we'll continue moving around here like a carousel as we explain this. Let's just use up some more energy just so we can show stuff. But yeah, it's on a cooldown. I'm not sure exactly how quick the cooldown is, but as I showed before, it is somewhere between 1 and 2 swings of your pickaxe. So the cooldown is in there somewhere. You know, you can get it every single swing, you'll gain 5 energy. So if you're ever in a pickle and need it, that's a great way to do it. Now, abilities can gain you energy as well. So if I pull this out, I'm at 50. Every time I actually hit the enemy... Oh, actually, the chain lightning's giving it as well. That didn't happen before, I'm sure. That's fair enough. So the chain lightning is actually looking like it's giving us energy as well. That's something I've just learned while recording this, because I'm pretty sure it wasn't before. Unless it's to do with me using... I have put... where is it? Battle Beat in there with the Rock and Riff. I don't know why that would change things. Yeah, I'm still a bit shocked by what's just happened there. Because previously, the lightning from Hotwire was not giving me energy. But now it looks like it is. So, honestly, I don't know what to think. But it generally doesn't eliminate enemies, the chain lightning, unless you're like super overpowered anyway. But yeah, we're getting off track seriously here. So that's the main core mechanic of Blasted Badlands, is that you start with 0 energy. I'm just going to get rid of some again. You start with 0 energy, and you don't gain it naturally like you do in the base game. You know, you don't just passively gain it. You have to earn it by dealing damage or by using some of these heroes. So let's show some of the heroes that can give that. So in terms of what heroes can aid you with getting that energy up, so as I said, you know, doing abilities like going constructor here, when you actually hit the enemy with it, you will gain 5 energy every time you hit them. If we switch to, say, a going commando hero, I mean, it really doesn't matter what ability, but let's just say you're going to use the increased duration, because you're already getting a reduction in cooldown. And yeah, every time you hit an enemy with, well, not every time, but every time given the cooldown, you hit an enemy with your going commando gun, you also gain energy back. So, you know, if you're using these sort of abilities, they will passively come back. But then, for example, his other ability, War Cry, you aren't going to naturally hit people with that. Obviously, you will be shooting a gun, probably, I would imagine, is, you know, that's the reason you use War Cry, to increase, like, damage and fire rate and stuff. So you will probably get energy back, and you can get it back, you know, passively. Well, not passively, but by just hitting enemies and damaging enemies. But if you want something that is going to directly give you the energy back, so the first option is Fossil Southie. So let's just find him on the list. Here he is. So as you can see, as your main commander, while shield is depleted, regenerate 12 energy per second, and then while shield is depleted as a standard perk, you generate 4 energy per second. So generally you're going to want him in support if you're going to do this, not the main slot, because as your main slot, you'll want someone with, you know, I don't know what you're going to be playing, but a good base or a good ability damage or, you know, something like that. Maybe if you're going to for like a Teddy build, you'll want the Teddy to be really strong. The only scenario you want him to be the main, in my opinion, is really when you're doing a farming build. Other than that, you'll want him in support. So how does he work? So you're going to need Blast from the Past. As you saw from his perk, you have to have Shield depleted. Now, that's only going to be consistently happening if you use Blast from the Past. This hero here that you get by getting one of the dinosaur heroes, I believe. So remove all shield and increase max health by 200%. So your health becomes 3 times what it did before, but you require 2 dinosaur heroes in support. So if you use this tab here, it shows what heroes match the team perk, this little second tab. So you can use that to easily find them. But yeah, there's a few heroes you can use from this event, from the llamas. Not from the llamas, sorry, they're not in the rad llamas. I didn't mean that. They're from like the event store and doing hit the road and stuff. You might not have enough yet, that's fine. But yeah, generally you'll need to put 2 of these in. So just use whatever works best for you. You know, having increased armor is quite nice. You can get some healing, although the healing's not as strong as, say, Survivalist Jonesy. And, you know, it depends what you're going to be using. Increase ability damage by 20% is obviously a clear, strong one to use if you're doing, say, a Teddy build or anything like that, because well, it's just you're just getting ability increased damage by 20% straight off the bat just by having the perk. But yeah, so, you know, if you're having him in support, so let's say you have, I'm just going to use lefty and righty just because it's the first one there. So for the team perk, you know, Fossil South is going to want to be the first one you put in there if you are doing it for energy passively this way. He'll be in there, so that's 1 out of 2. You know, that's a positive of putting him in support. He counts as one of the 2. And then you just need 1 more, you know, maybe ability damage increase, whatever it wants to be for you. But yeah, that's your first option for decreasing or getting energy back, sorry. So now, you know, if say you are doing a Teddy build, that works nicely with that. You already got the decreased cooldown. You don't need Happy Holidays. You can make this Blast from the Past and then work around that way. But let's say you don't want to get rid of your shields, you don't want to increase your health, and you don't want to use 2 dinosaur heroes to get that energy instead. Because that is using two of your slots, you know, that you would otherwise be able to use towards your Teddy build, for example. Instead, what you can do is, if I can find him real quick, Fallen Love Ranger Jonesy, is that what it's called? Fallen Love Ranger Jonesy, yeah, cool. So his ability when he is in support is Eliminations restore 6 energy over 3 seconds, and that refreshes every time an enemy is eliminated. So if your Teddy is just like blasting people all over the place, you're going to be gaining energy passively all the time. Now, it's not as potent as Fossil Southie, because he gives you 4 energy per second as support, and then 12 as main. So it's not quite as big a differential. But yeah, enough about blabbing on about that anyway. But again, you probably don't want to use him as your main hero. Fallen Love Ranger Jonesy, you don't really need the energy that desperately. Unless you're doing like a nature weapon, nature mission even, in which case you might need it. But yeah, he wants to be in support, and then other than that, you can just put whatever you want in here. So yeah, that goes for the builds. That's, you know, some of the heroes that you can get energy back. Now, I'm sure there's plenty more, but this is just what I've learned so far, and you know, we'll do more builds and stuff in the future. So now that you know what heroes you can put in there, but as I say, you can really easily just get it by dealing damage. Like, I can just poke someone from a mile away. It really doesn't matter how much damage you do. As long as you deal the tiniest bit of damage, you will gain energy back. But there are other differences as well. So one, your ability cooldowns are reduced. Now, as far as how much this reduces them, I went into a mission just as Director Riggs on his own, to figure out how much you would get. So in terms of how much cooldown does it increase on your abilities, I've got a plain Riggs here with a standard cooldown of 100 seconds, so that gives us a clear indication of the percent difference because it's starting at 100, so it's the perfect number. Ongoing Constructor, I've got no Happy Holidays, I've got nothing else stopping it from being any different than that 100 seconds. So if I go ahead and start it here, 50 seconds, so that wow, that has decreased cooldowns by 50%. That's actually crazy. Is that right? That can't be right, surely. If I go to... actually, I don't think it shows up here, does it? I'm not sure. if it shows, but it definitely is 100 seconds cooldown ongoing constructor. We can show that in the main lobby. But yeah, that decreasing to 50 is insane, just as standard without Happy Holidays. And then when I use Happy Holidays, that then decreases the 50 seconds down. Well, I don't know exactly how the stacking works for that stuff. But Happy Holidays reduces it by 40%, which in the case of 50 seconds will be another 20 seconds, but I don't think it stacks like that. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how it works, because the math don't really add up in my mind. Because starting at 100 seconds, I think maybe it does Happy Holidays first, so it takes away 40%, which will bring it to 60. And then, even if it no matter which way it does it, if it takes another half off then, that's going to bring it to 30 seconds. But the cooldown's on 38 seconds, so... Yeah, I'm not really sure how they work together. I know it says stacks independently, but I don't know what that means. Honestly, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a bit confused right now. But you and I are both confused at the same time. But yeah, you can see the Venture Zone, as standard, reduces cooldowns by 50%, which is actually crazy. Perfect. So, yeah, it reduces it down by 50% by the looks of it. But when you combine it with other things, I'm not sure how they stack, so it's pretty weird. But yeah, the increase... sorry. On top of that, your abilities also deal more damage. So this Going Constructor here... Now, I'm pretty adequately leveled for this, and Going Constructor is a powerful ability anyway, but let that be some sort of way to show. Now, I don't know the percent increase on this, because you can see your hero ability damage in the Venture Zone, but there's no real way for me to accurately compare it, unless we get to the 130 zone, and then I know for a fact I'm power level 130, and then sort of tweak it to the base. I don't know. There's not really a good way to compare it, so I'm not sure what percent increase you get to the ability damage. If I was a betting man, I would say it would be a 50% increase, just like it's a 50% decrease to cooldowns. But again, I have no idea if that is accurate. I'm sure people have done tests on it to figure it out, but basically, abilities are king in this zone. But you generally need to be dealing damage to get the energy back to use them, because that's how they work. You know, they use energy to be used. Now, as I say, you can put a numerous amount of heroes in your build to get the energy back, or you can just focus on dealing damage to enemies, either in your ability or while your ability is acting. So if it's Warcry, for example, as long as you're shooting enemies while that's active, you know, you're going to be gaining energy. And then when it comes back off cooldown, you can use it again. Now, yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else there is to say, to be honest. To say, what I've found from my experience is that just using the hero builds I use in base game can be very powerful. Now, some do need tweaking. Like, for example, when I play Going Commando, I use the cooldown hero as the main hero. Now, if you do that, your cooldown's going to be so short that it's going to be like a waste, because you're going to get it back like way before you've even finished using it. So it makes more sense to use the one that either increases the duration or increases the damage or something as the main hero. Or you can just, you know, not use Happy Holidays and use something else to get more damage in some way. But yeah, most part, so far for me, I have just been able to use my regular loadouts, and as long as you're shooting enemies, dealing damage with guns, or the ability itself, in the case of, you know, Teddies, you're going to have to be shooting the enemies a little bit between to get your energy back, or just literally swap out one hero, like the hero that you least need in the build, and putting Fall in Love Raging Josie in there. That has worked out super effective for me. And, you know, we're only just a few days into this, and this is my first ever time doing this, but I'm a fairly quick learner. I feel, like, not to be cocky or anything, but I feel like I'm fairly quick to learn things. And yeah, I've had the experience now, and honestly, I don't think you need to play around the energy too much. Unless you get to zones where it's, you know, nature is going to be more difficult, or zones where you have modifiers where you know, something around energy. I'm not sure what there is at the top of the ventures yet, because I haven't got there. But yeah, generally, that's all you're going to need to know for the Blasted Badlands, is you might need one of those heroes in, but also just dealing damage gets you your energy back, which I don't think everybody knows, or at least if you're new to the zone and you're watching this tutorial, you probably wouldn't know. You might think that it was eliminations, because that's what I was told, and that's what I was led to believe. And the description by Epic Games on the mode isn't really that clear. Probably should have shown that at the start, actually, but honestly, it's probably for the best that you didn't see it from me, because it is a bit misleading anyway. But yeah, you know the core mechanics now, you know how it works, so that's all good. And I'll probably just let you go and get back to grinding ventures. But thank you so much for watching the video. Hopefully you did find it useful. We do stream, and we will be streaming ventures, helping people out in ventures, stuff like that, once I get to a high enough power level. So, if you want to check that out, definitely subscribe and put notifications on, or join the Discord to get alerts on when we go live, stuff like that. But thank you so much for watching the video. We do have plenty of other guides as well for that reason. But yeah, cheers for watching, and I'll hopefully see you in a future guide or video. Cheers.